Hey everybody, it's Sweet Deat. As you can tell, I got a haircut. Ooh, so fly. If you live in Atlanta and you're not going to Vivid Salon and seeing my girl Gwen for anything hair, you are missing out. She's back in business, so go see her. And while I'm in the business of shout outs, I might as well go ahead and shout out one of my favorite bands to ever exist in the ATL. That's right, the 200s. I really wish they were still playing music, but they released an album a few months ago that they had been holding on to for a while, and it's sick. So go check it out. I think it's on all the streaming platforms. Okay, so why am I here this time? I'm so glad you asked. Wrote an episode about it. Want to hear it? Here it goes. So this new series that I'm going to start with this particular episode is entitled Build Your Team. And yes, it means exactly that. In this world that we navigate as creatives, we need a team of people around us to keep us organized and keep us on point. As any business grows, things get complicated, and having specialized people in different areas will make your life more focused on your art, which is what you want to do, and also give other people an opportunity to handle all of the other aspects of your business. One person can't do it alone. Believe me, I tried. I used to work seemingly 18 hours a day trying to keep up with all this stuff. And the minute that I started outsourcing some of these responsibilities and building a team of people around me, I became a much better person, and I slept a lot better, and my art, I feel like, got a little bit better too. So, in the first episode of this Build Your Team series, I'd like to talk about lawyers. So before you run away from that crazy, scary word, lawyer, click the subscribe button. And if you haven't ran away yet, good for you, click the subscribe button too. I truly hope this information helps you out. So, this word, lawyer, it's scary. It seems like every time someone brings up the word lawyer, it's always in a negative connotation. Like, I'm about to get sued, or I'm gonna sue you. Someone's feelings are always hurt, and that kind of sucks. So hopefully by the end of this today, you'll be able to look at the word lawyer in a slightly different light and realize that they may be one of the most important players on your team. The first thing I'm going to tell you is to simply talk to a lawyer before there's any sort of problems. Hopefully the things that they provide for you will help you avoid any of these drastic situations that you're always used to hearing the word lawyer thrown around in. So being ahead of the curve is always a good idea. So let's talk about 5 things that a lawyer can do for you. Number 1, the most obvious thing that I think everybody's thinking about right now, I'll just go ahead and say it. It's the elephant in the room, having a contract. And before you rush out to like contract.com or givemeafreecontract.com or whatever those free websites are where they give you some documents that are super bland and don't really cover you, you should think about having a conversation with someone so they know your intricate needs and they can craft a contract for you. So here are some of the clauses in a contract that you should see. Terms and conditions, details about a gig, performance schedule, cancellation policy, late payment fee, configuration, staging, hospitality, artistic control, independent law, governing law, collections, and usually there's a little thing at the end that just says entire contract. So some of these we'll skip over, some of these we'll talk about, depending on how obvious they are. So think of terms and conditions as sort of like a big subheading of all the other things that I basically just talked about. So we don't necessarily need to talk about that. Including the terms and conditions are things like performance fee and maybe the schedule in which that they plan to pay you. Some people have 50% deposits and stuff like that. So that's where you'd list that information. Performance schedule just lays out the general idea of when they are going to play. It may not have specific moments, but it may say something like for a 4-hour time block beginning at 8 p.m. and of those 4 hours, 3 hours are performance time and maybe 1 hour isn't. Cancellation policy is pretty self-explanatory. What happens if things get canceled? This is usually where a very popular clause like a force majeure clause comes into play. And I think after this pandemic, a lot of people know what a force majeure is. So I don't really feel like I need to talk about that either. But if I do, leave a comment below and I'll give you the full explanation. Late payment fees. Is there a charge if they're late to give you your payment that you're requesting? Or how about band configuration? How many members of the band are going to be there? Then we get to the topic of staging. That's a really important one. Is there going to be stage there? Is it a flat surface? All these things need to be laid out to make sure you don't show up and your band or whatever creative world that you're in, you're not doing it on land that looks like this. Hospitality. Are they giving you any food? Are they giving you anything to drink? Are you allowed to drink on the gig? All those types of things. Artistic control. This is sort of a defense measure against people getting sick or having family emergencies, etc., and the client coming back at you for maybe not having that one favorite person in their band that they really liked, and maybe that's the reason why they bought you in the first place. As we know, things pop up. It's not something that we can control always, and there always needs to be grace between the client and the artist. So a clause like this in your contract is really cool. Independent contractors. Maybe you have a clause in your contract that says that we are an independent contractor and we are not an employee of your company for the day. This is kind of important for obviously a lot of reasons. Governing law. This is establishing if there is an issue and this is to go to court, what state would you be going to court in to settle the dispute? A collection clause. That's like if you go to court and whoever wins doesn't have to pay the lawyer fees, essentially. And the entire contract clause, that just basically means that we're all agreeing on the terms that are listed above. So obviously that's a lot of stuff. And if you don't have a lawyer that has personalized a contract for you, you could have some holes in your contract and you could be in trouble if something goes wrong. So, moral of the story, book an appointment with a lawyer that you trust and go in, meet with him, become his best friend, and work out all the details for your business specifically. In the event you ever have to exercise clauses in the contract, you will be thankful. Okay, numero dos is the reasons why you should have a lawyer on your side is trademarking your brand. Trademarks are really important. If you're trying to build a company and someone else comes along and starts a company with a similar name and then files a trademark before you're out of luck. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so I just want to go ahead and say that out loud. But to my understanding, he who files first is in the court's favor. So just be careful to always get a trademark done for your brand. Number 3. Wait, my fingers kind of looked weird. If you're a songwriter and you're getting together with friends and writing songs, it's always important to have, you guessed it, a single song licensing form on hand. If you know anything about the music business or music history in general, there's been lawsuits for years about people stealing songs or claiming they wrote certain parts of the songs, and those things are so hard to prove. When you get done making a piece of art, just sit down and say, hey, how much did you write of that? How much did I write of that stuck? And how should we split this? Having this document on hand will save you a lot of trouble. And if you have a good lawyer friend, he can help you out with that. Number 4, negotiating. So say someone wants your song or a piece of art to use for something. A lawyer can look at what they're trying to pay you and negotiate for you a higher number. It's always great to have a professional like a lawyer working for you to get what you deserve. It's kind of like those injury lawyer things that you see online all the time. We'll get every dollar for you that you deserve and blah, 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 right? Same thing here. If somebody wants your song or your piece of art, a lawyer can help you make sure you get fair value for that. They'll weed through all of the contracts and everything and make sure that you're not getting hosed. Let's face it, we're musicians, we're creatives. This is not something we spend all of our days on. And I personally would just rather hire someone that I trust and that does solid work to handle this part of business. And that gets me to number 5. That's right, 5. Number 5 is what we all know lawyers for doing, being there quickly in a time of need. Now, it's really simple here, people. When you need a lawyer, you got to act fast. Time is usually of the essence. So, why wait until you desperately need one? Seems like to me, it makes the most sense to seek one out when you don't need one to make sure that you've got the right person for the job when you need them most. So, don't be a statistic. Think about and research what lawyer would be great for you. Now, good news, if you live in the Atlanta area, I know just the guy, and I'm going to list his information in the comments below. His name is Matt, and he's an amazing human being as well as a great lawyer, and he will take care of you. That said, there's tons of other great lawyers everywhere. So feel free to do your research and find one that best suits you. And if you do the things that I told you to do in this video, it's likely that your bad law experiences will be kept to a minimal. So hey, I hope you enjoyed this first episode of Build Your Team. If you like what you hear, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. I mean, just crush it. Give it a thumbs up, and maybe most importantly, share this with somebody who needs it. Having a lawyer on your team is a great asset. Don't wait. Do this now, like as soon as this video's over, which is basically now. So I'll see you next time. Take care. I'm Sweet Deat. Peace.